Everybody doing tonight? Everybody happy? Nobody sad? Well, we're going to have a fantastic time. All right? But before I get started, folks, I want to thank each and every one of you for sharing with me one of your most valuable resources, and that's your time. And I don't take that lightly. So, we're going to have a little audience participation tonight, and I've got this wonderful timer to keep us at 10 minutes so that you guys can get out of here for the last presentation tonight. If you'll hold that for me, thank you so much.
She's not on our team or anything.
So what's up? It's like Vanna White. She didn't want me to say that, but oh well. Our team, Hot Top Inc. Why Hot Top Inc? Well, because our team's hot. Why is our team hot, folks? Because we've got the hottest product in the world. We're going to be marketing to the bottom of the pyramid, 3.5 billion to 4 billion people in the world, and everybody eats, right? Everybody in the room eats 1 meal a day at least, right? We all need 1 meal a day. And that means that people are cooking. So what we've got is we've got the microwave. What the microwave is to the modern world, EcoStoof is going to be to the developing countries. EcoStoof is Afrikaans for eco stove. It's an eco-friendly stove that reduces the carbon footprint. Basically, it's sustainable, it's affordable, and it's eco-friendly. Now, the country that we picked is Namibia. Namibia is kind of a middle country market. And we'll go into detail a little bit later why we chose that country. Cooking in Namibia. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. That would be the next slide. No, it's okay. We need to practice this in advance, folks. So anyways, cooking in Namibia. One of the big challenges to a lot of developing countries is that they cook in open fire pits. And, some of them do have stoves, but the stoves aren't very efficient. And because of that, you run into a lot of problems, like, for instance, toxicity of open fires, lung problems, respiratory problems, eye irritation, allergies, and even lung diseases for mothers as well as their children. So the more efficient that we can make cook stoves, the better health that we're going to have. Also, fuel. Very, very, very expensive as far as charcoal, etc., with inefficient stoves. In addition to that, it's time-consuming. These mothers are going out there and collecting wood in the different forests, and it's causing deforestation. So deforestation is a major contributor to that. So what we're looking at is EcoStoof, the Eco Stove in English. Now, without further ado, I'm going to introduce it. Ladies and gentlemen,
ready?
The microwave to the modern world. This is EcoStoof to the developing countries. All right. Now, I was going to put some LED lights in there and make it all special, but they didn't have any at the dollar store. Basically, EcoStoof improves the quality of life in households. It decreases gases and smoke by up to 80%. It also increases the family income due to savings by about $50 to $75 a year. Maximizes fuel usage by reducing biomass fuel consumption by 60%. Reduces cooking time by up to 40%. And the environmental impact, that's the most important thing. CO2 reduction, 1 to 1.5 tons per stove per year in lowered CO2 emissions. Now, the important part about that is that it's going to come to our business model with carbon credits, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass the mic over to Faisal, who's going to talk to you a little bit about the culture of Namibia and some of their demographics. Faisal, thank you.
Thanks, William. Yes? Thanks, William. So I'm going to get into a little bit about why we chose Namibia with a view to explain why we feel that this market is a good one. First, I'm really excited about our product. The EcoStoof is here with us today, and we're glad to have it here in front of you. Namibia is a country of about 2.3 million people. It's largely, like most developing countries, made up of the balance of poor that we think is such an exciting market to target with low-dollar products but high improvement in quality of life. So a little bit of ethics as well as good business. Our research into Namibia has shown that there's sort of an equal amount, or a 60-40 split, urban-rural. Rural side, there's a lot of small towns, villages, 15,000 to 20,000 people and under. Our thinking is that in the village right now they use a traditional fire, open pit, go source the wood in the village side, and this would be something a little bit different. Whereas in the city, there's two different groups. The main group are those people that have money. Our thinking is that they wouldn't be the primary target here. Who would be is those people who live in the cities at the fringes, the margins. So that's where we're thinking we would have a segue into the city. We're targeting the balance of poor because we think that there's growing income amongst this group. We have studied the pricing, and we anticipate that this product can be introduced at $25. Now, the GDP in Namibia right now is shown as a little over 2,033, which works out to about 1% of somebody's annual GDP. Now, that's an average. It's not for the balance of poor, but certainly we're going to introduce some effective ways to assist and encourage people to purchase this product. As far as Namibia, there's a wonderful government there. We often think of Africa as an unstable environment, and Namibia is certainly part of that culture. However, from looking at all countries in Africa, it's one of the more stable ones. It's a good country that welcomes foreign direct investment, low corruption on the scale that we looked at. So it seems to make a lot of sense. The government is encouraging entrepreneurship. So with that, I'll pass it back to William, and he'll get into the strategy.
Thank you so much. There we go. Thank you.
Hello? There we go.
Thank you so much, Faisal. You know, we had this stove painted the color orange because it's the color of success. And there happens to be somebody in the room tonight wearing an orange shirt. I don't know if anybody noticed or not. So what we want to do is we want to get into market strategy. And yeah, I've got my notes here. So market at the bottom of the pyramid, 3.5 to 4 billion people. We're going to contract with a local service company, basically a joint venture in Namibia. Why? Because they know the local market better, they know the local culture better, and a lot of times they have established relationships with key leaders of different organizations and agencies, etc. So we figured that a joint venture would be our best option overall. As far as production is concerned, this particular product is sourced and manufactured in China. The reason why China, obviously, we all know it's a big manufacturing country. We learned in the class the United States is #1, but China's coming up a close second, and so will surpass us in a few years. We were able to get the quality control standards. When we looked at manufacturing in Africa, the reason why a lot of vehicles, etc., aren't manufactured there is because the quality control standards aren't there. But we still wanted to be able to employ people besides just a sales training model. We wanted to employ some people in manufacturing there. So what we did is we came up with a compromise. And that is that this is manufactured in China for the quality control standards, but it'll be assembled in Namibia. So the parts go there, and then in some of the ingredients on the inside can be sourced from Africa itself, but the technology and the quality control standards are built right into the product from China. As far as distribution, basically a Tupperware, face-to-face type of model. In countries that are poor, most of that activity is face-to-face. We don't have iPods, they don't have televisions there like we do. So, you know, the important thing is the face-to-face communication, a lot of sales training, education, door-to-door, some radio and print, but mostly the face-to-face type of advertising. As far as celebrity endorsements, celebrities there are not like the celebrities here necessarily. It's more respected people in the community, so that's what's important. Is looking at our sales forecast, 5-year aggregate, we're looking at about 50,000, 25,000 units the first year, 50,000 units the second year, etc. You see through year 5. At 50,000 units, that's our point where this becomes very profitable, not only because of the profits that we make on the stove itself, but also by selling carbon credits. And the carbon credit model will work as far as increasing our profitability. And then one of our plans down the road is to actually subsidize the cost of this. And how carbon credits work, just real quick, folks, is it's almost like a stock certificate, and I'm going to put it in real simple terms, but it's like a stock certificate where we get that credit because we're lowering the carbon footprint, and then large corporations or people that want to trade that particular stock on the open market can buy that in order to lower their carbon footprint. But in the meantime, we make the profitability in between so that they show a lower carbon footprint whether they have one or not. Predictions, basically over the next 5 years, we're looking at 1.4 million. But at the 3-year mark here, we have stabilized revenues enough to expand into other markets. So the important thing is to expand out of Namibia. So is EcoStufa go? That's the big question.
And maybe what I'll do is I'll just ask the class that, given some of the things that we've talked about. EcoStufa is affordable, it's targeted at a very specific group, it's got a simple design, easy to manufacture, and the challenge for us is that we're going to face cultural barriers. People are used to going to the remote areas and getting wood, and that together with the issue of no patent protection, if you will, in Namibia, is our key challenges. So would you say this is a go or a no-go? Put your hand up if it's a go.
Oh yeah, we have what, about a third of the class for a go? And what about that? No-go? All right. Oh, they're kind of a non-committal group here tonight. All right, well, folks, you know what? With that, thank you so much for your time, and we're going to bring the team up here. If everybody give them a round of applause for us.